Hey guys, welcome to Natural Aesthetics. So this is basically a recap video from my recent contest prep. Just going to critique my performance, hopefully help you guys out if you're looking to get ready for a show or just diet down to extreme conditioning. So just while I'm talking, there's a few clips for you to watch. Obviously the first one's on show day. Second clip is a week later. No pump, no training done in that week either. Just a few more kilos heavier from food. There's some interesting comparison shots from my heaviest to my lightest, and then finally some food that I've been eating this week. The first point is tanning. Tan did me no justice whatsoever. It was way too dark, kind of washed me out. The usual tan that I usually use, I did put 2 coats on, then decided to go darker the morning leading up to the show, put the extra dark stuff on, and I just didn't like it. I felt it flattened me out. A lot of the detail that I had prior to that kind of got lost, especially on stage. Unfortunately as well, the lighting was not as harsh as the last competition I did, and subsequently I thought I probably could have got away with a lighter colouring. A lot of the guys on stage probably didn't do them justice either. Certainly from my point of view, I wasn't happy with how I looked on stage. Another pointer is posing, and my posing just wasn't good enough. I felt like I was really tired before even getting on the stage. Maybe pumped up a little bit too much because I did feel flat. I didn't feel I was able to get a decent pump as quick as I should have. And again, I'll come back to that a little bit later. But I felt I had to do too much work to get like a half decent pump. By the time I got on stage, I was pretty much gassed out. Just feeling tired as well because of all the cardio that I'd done before. And again, I'll come back to that in a minute. But basically, posing was a little bit shaky, and I wasn't showcasing all of my muscles to the fullest extent that I could. I had decent calf development, and I wasn't showing my calves on any of the back poses. I wasn't tensing my legs as hard as I could, showing all of the cross striations on some of the front poses, stuff like that. Just felt shaky, and it looked shaky in some of the videos that I've seen. So that's something that I need to practice, and I'll be training my posing routines, training the mandatories a lot more over the next year or so, and just drill them in. So then move on to the dietary and CV protocols leading up to the show. The biggest mistake that I made was starting the diet too heavy. Basically, the main difference between this prep and the 2013 prep was I had a lot more weight to lose, a lot more body fat to shed. That was my own choice. I wanted to commit to the bulk fully. I'd always been a skinny guy, naturally lean ectomorph, so I thought I'd commit to it properly, and it worked. I got incredibly strong compared to my strength levels before. I worked up to about 100 kilos body weight. So I did what I said I wanted to do, but subsequently I had to work very hard to diet down from that, and it's not something I'll do again. It's just too time consuming and too much hard work. So this next off season I'm going to start lighter, maintain a more lean physique in the off season. So leading up to the competition, the realisation that I perhaps wasn't going to be as lean as I wanted to if I didn't, do something drastic within those last few weeks. I'm not going to roll over and admit that I've messed it up and, I'll wait till next year to do the show. No, you're going to do your damnedest to get in shape within those last couple of weeks, even if it means doing stuff you shouldn't, that's not optimal, that's going to promote muscle wastage. I had to get in shape. I had to do that show. So just planning. Like I said, this relates back to starting the diet too damn heavy in the first place. But just planning your weight loss a little bit better, have better structuring, knowing where you should be, how many weeks out, So basically, about 4 weeks out, my calories were still 2,400 or so. They went to about 1,400 at their lowest, I believe. Now, I was still losing body fat the last week leading up to the show. That was how drastic it was. I was doing cardio every day, sometimes twice a day, over the last 2 weeks, and inevitably this enabled me to lose a lot of body fat quite fast, but it did leave me looking quite flat, and certainly the vascularity was very poor. Yeah, too much cardio and not enough calories, especially carbohydrates. It just made me look flat, definitely. I had a higher carbohydrate intake in 2013. I didn't drop below 325 grams. And for me, this worked a lot better. But like I said, I had to do it over those last few weeks to get to that leanness that I needed. So next show, I aim to be in peak conditioning about 3 weeks prior to the date. This will be at the point where my cardio will be at its highest. As well, my calories will more than likely be at the lowest point during this time. You know, my carbs might have dropped pretty damn low. However, I have weeks leading up to the competition from that point to kind of up my carbohydrates, up my calories, and drop my CV slowly but surely to kind of almost fill out, kind of like a reverse diet into the show. That's the plan next time. So I don't have that kind of frantic rush at the end to get in shape. I noticed I looked a lot better on the evening of the day after the show. So a good 36 hours after. You know, I hammered the carbohydrates on the Monday, the day after. I had a lot of fat as well and a lot more salt than I had on the previous couple of days. And this improved my physique massively. I filled out, striations were more evident. And this might just be because obviously I hadn't been doing any cardio as well. So, you know, the legs weren't as flat as before. But definitely more vascular as well, much more vascular, which is frustrating. It just means that I can handle a lot more carbs than first thought. Definitely need to increase my salt the day before the show as well. And just generally pig out a little bit more. You know, I didn't smooth out at all in those 36 hours after the show. So I'd had about 450 grams of carbs on Saturday. Now, I had originally planned to do much higher amount, probably 800 plus, but I felt that I wasn't lean enough to warrant doing that, and I was worried about spilling over and losing some of that glycogen in the muscle to the areas between the muscle and the skin, which is obviously going to smooth you out and make you look less impressive. So I was fearful of that, hence why I went quite conservative, went to about 450 grams of carbs. Then on Sunday, leading up to the show, I probably had the same again, a fair amount of salt, but it was nothing crazy. So then the evening after the show, I had a lot more fat and salt, had a good binge, and then Monday again was exactly the same, a hell of a lot more salt and food in general. On Monday I had things like fried breakfast, steak and chips, Zarka, chocolate brownie stuff, so a lot of carbohydrates, a lot of salt as well, which definitely helps with the vascularity. So all this, you know, I can bear in mind for the next show. I noticed no spillover at all. I held my conditioning and just got fuller and more vascular. So this is an indication to me that I can increase my carbohydrates massively leading up to the show. So more than likely, the day before the next competition, probably going to be at least double the carbohydrates, a lot more salt, probably have a real good junk meal the night before, and I'm sure that I'll look a lot better because of that. Just generally eating more food leading up to the competition, that's a big change that I need to make. Not rushing around and being lean enough in the first place to warrant manipulating your carbohydrates. You know, like I said, I had originally planned to do what we call an aggressive backloading of carbohydrates, where you increase your carbohydrates massively the day before, but it's not a long enough duration to warrant spilling over. But you have to be lean enough to warrant doing it in the first place. So that's the main take-home point, if you will, is to get insanely shredded. You know, I needed to lose perhaps another kilo, get those glutes shredded before going ham on the carbohydrates. So that's why I was a little bit conservative Saturday, and it didn't help me out because I kind of peaked the day after the show. But it's very valuable, all this information, knowing how your body works and how it responds to certain things. You know, it can help me out, it can help any clients that are perhaps working with me. So it's all good. I don't regret anything. Just learn from it and make sure you change it next time round. Stay tuned for the next video in which I'll be talking about my new bulking routine. Stay strong.